Hello everyone, Resonance here, and welcome to Empires Apart! Empires Apart is a new, old-school, classic-style RTS game with a few twists, but on a modern engine, and it is now purchasable on Steam. The goal of this video series is to briefly go over each of the 6 completely unique civilizations in the game to help you decide which civilization best fits your own personal playstyle, because in this game, there's an archetype for everyone. There's a full playlist that you can find below, and as always, I really appreciate your support. To keep it simple, Empires Apart has the classic 4-resource system economy, with the ability to micromanage your villagers, construct buildings wherever you want, and it follows the overall gameplay formula that you'd expect, but with a better random map balance, and more complicated unit designs. As core though, Empires Apart definitely has its own identity, because of the many interesting twists and additions it brings. And remember, every civilization in Empires Apart is completely different from the others. And so, let's talk a little bit about the Arabs. So the Arabs are classified as an advanced and protection-oriented civilization. In the early game, as a release, the Arabs don't have anything notable about them, so they can be a bit vulnerable to rushes. Once the game reaches its middle point though, the Arabs get a huge power spike by being the only civilization with access to splash damage in military level 1 with their skirmisher unit that actually lobs grenades. While the Arabs lack the early game and blacksmith of the Byzantines and French, they more than make up for it with their various special abilities. As the Arabs, you always want to be thinking about the mid and late game, and how you can best grow your economy and take advantage of your university building, which buffs nearby units and buildings too. Once you reach the late stages of the game, that is when the Arabs really shine, because they get full access to all of their many unique mechanics. The unique mechanic of the Arabs, as I like to call it, is having a lot of mechanics, because the Arabs are a tremendously useful utility civilization. They are called the advanced civilization for a reason. The Arabs don't rely on their raw unit stats, as evident through their seemingly crippling lack of blacksmith upgrades, and even tier 3 unit upgrades too, but don't let that fool you. For starters, the Arabs have monks, or imams, that can convert enemy units to your control. They also get access to a unique hospital building that trains medics that are much better than the ones in Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds, because these medics heal in an area around them as long as they aren't moving. And then they also have an assassin unit at the fortress that in itself has like 3 unique mechanics. It's an invisible unit that has a special burst damage attack that can be only used if there are no nearby enemy units to the assassin. And it also debuffs nearby enemies if the target unit is killed. The assassin can fail though, as it's an active ability that as on release temporarily grants the assassin a movement speed boost and burst damage on first hit that is thankfully not enough to instantly kill a hero with just one, but it will instantly kill most other units if you can get the damage in the time window. It's really good at taking out siege weapons, for example. However, if the buff runs out and your opponent jukes you, then your assassin is toast, as it cannot re-stealth until the active ability's very large cooldown is completely reset. And they cost a ton of gold too. So regardless of their poor early game, the Arabs are a civilization of advanced tactics, and that certainly includes their 2 hero units as well. Like with all civilizations in Empires Apart, you can pick your hero when selecting your civ, and they each encourage different playstyles. The Arabs get both Hassan-i-Sabah and Saladin. When your hero dies, currently as a release it is permanently dead and not put on a cooldown with the resurrecting feat like in Warcraft 3. So all heroes are powerful late game units with a single active ability on a cooldown and a passive ability as well. Hassan has the ability to teleport nearby and leave behind a stealthed assassin at his previous location, with the assassin's active ability immediately available as of release. So he can actually circumvent the assassin's limitation of not being nearby enemy units. Hassan fits perfectly into the Arabs theme of outplaying your opponents through superior knowledge rather than just through raw stats. For example, Hassan's passive ability is that while he's standing still for, as of release, 50 seconds, he'll eventually go invisible and debuff nearby enemy units, reducing their armor and movement speed. He grants you vision too, of course, so while fragile, the information that he gathers is valuable, and the debuff can unexpectedly turn the tides in a nearby battle. While Hassan himself has no attack, he is still a major threat because of his passive debuff, scouting information, and the ability to just replace himself with an active assassin. And so, comrades, if you chose Hassan as your dear leader in Soviet Arabia, he will have eyes everywhere and nothing will slip by you. So make sure to pick him if you like sneaky plays. Next up, we have Saladin, who's also very thematic for the other side of the Arabs, the mass buffing of your own units and the converting of enemy units. Saladin is a mounted warrior with the active ability Rallying Cry, which gives all nearby friendly units bonus damage and attack speed. But rest assured, knowing that Saladin's ability is called Mercy, in which whenever Saladin deals lethal damage to an enemy unit, instead of it dying, Saladin shows it mercy and converts that unit to your side. This combos extremely well with medics, a phrase I never thought I'd say in an RTS after thousands and thousands of hours in Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds. But hey, here it's really good. In addition, Saladin's cooldowns leave your opponent a window of opportunity to strike back when Rallying Cry is on cooldown. Saladin is the type of hero for players who want raw value through stat boosts, converting enemy troops, and direct military presence. To wrap things up, we've already covered the Arab's Imam unit, but we've only scratched the surface of what this civilization is truly like in the right hands. I purposely chose the Byzantines, French, and Arabs to start to showcase the most comparable civilizations, while the remaining three are somehow even crazier than the Arabs are. I think it's great that we have some traditional tech tree civilizations that still manage to be very creative, alongside civilizations that I'll soon show that break many of the classic tech tree rules. The Arabs are definitely understandable at a glance, but if you look away for just a second, you get military level 1 grenades thrown at you, converted to the enemy team, and even worse, you get access to the Arabs' free healthcare! And so, the goal with the Arabs is to try and get to the late game, usually through utilizing NAF throwers, or just through their sheer variety of units. I chose the civilization as the third one because it's fascinating to see a civilization missing so many economic and blacksmith upgrades, and yet still be considered a late game powerhouse. What the Arabs lack in raw stats and traditional economic strength, they certainly make up for with their universities providing them buffs instead. Then, with some sneaky assassins, grenade throwers, medics, you start to see where the protection side of the Arabs come in that they make an excellent teammate with their tremendous utility. If you like a very utility-oriented civilization with powerful buffs, burst damage, having the earliest access to gunpowder AoE, and building forward universities, then you'll definitely like playing as the Arabs in Empires Apart. Also, please let me know if you remember the forward university thing, as it's been a long time since I've made that joke, and in this game, it's actually a thing. And that's all for this civilization overview, but don't forget to check out the full playlist in the video description below, or at the very end of this video, with the remaining 3 episodes coming out in April. My personal thanks to everyone for watching and supporting the channel, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video, or on my social media, and the next Twitch stream.